You could go like the George route of like breaking chairs when you sit in them, or you could be like me, and you can kind of like be more like nonchalant about it.
Yeah, there was one episode.
You're always chilling, right?
Oh yeah.
There's one episode of the podcast where I talked about like a road trip that I went on for like like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, I get like a little bit excited to like end the episode. And I'm like, wait, and I like sit back down and like the chair
fucking broke.
Just collapses and I fall over. It was absolutely.
It was awesome.
Oh, I still.
And it was after so many episodes of filming in that chair too.
Yeah, that
it was
chair,
like fucking crazy.
That chair was like always super close to just like breaking and shattering. Yeah. We had another chair just like that like I would normally sit in for guest episodes, but like this time I was like, I can't risk it. I can't risk the chair breaking live on air again.
We should actually really funny if it did again though.
We should get
it'd be like a running bit.
Broken chair for guests to make them feel bad. Lately I've been really into like passively asserting dominance in conversation. And I think that this could be like a really, what are you looking at? I think that this could be like
off into space.
A really good way. Yeah, exactly.
It looked like you were just like
a really, really good way for me and George to really tell the guests like what's up, you know? Because many guests, they try.
A freaking bad night at that. That was really upsetting.
Many guests, they try to outdo us, you know? They try to make us bat an eye.
Okay.
And no.
But instead, me and George have been asserting conversational dominance on them.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Okay, give us an intro.
Please?
Give us an intro. We're waiting.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually make you wait a little bit longer.
Okay.
Chill.
Sorry, viewers. She wants to wait.
Ain't no big deal to the cutting machine.
Nope, we're definitely not getting antsy at all.
Nope. Not filling.
Not at all.
This isn't filling.
Okay. Please start.
They all loved that, by the way. Everybody, you know, listening on their commute to work or maybe while they're at their desk job, which I'm sure all of our listeners have, they loved that really sudden pop sound.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Obligatory Podcast.
Again, so it's like about the lever, right? Like when you're trying to push back, like it's like the lever.
For the audio listeners, Kay is sitting in my super awesome $400 PewDiePie chair.
Yeah,
that
it's not the 100 Mil Club one though.
No. This is just like a random one he had. That I bought.
He super glued my back to the seat. I can't leave.
She can't get out, but she keeps.
We can't have you getting out.
Yeah, so I'm like thrashing her, trying to get out.
She's trying to get out. She's hitting my George's Lunch Review, the movie poster, as she's like trying to like go like this and like pull the lever and like go all the way back.
Trying to like escape.
I like how you were trying to explain for the audio listeners, and then you said go like this.
Well, they all know at this point. They know what like this is versus like that.
You've built up a rapport with them.
Oh, I mean, for sure. Our loyal fans.
Would you say they're parasocial with you?
Our fans who we love.
Yeah, we love you.
Honestly,
more than hey, can I tell you, viewer? Just you and me right now.
Put out a name right now.
You and me, viewer.
Put out a name.
Carl.
Vivi the viewer.
You're the one for me.
That was
and I want you to find me, maybe take pictures of me, and come up and meet me and say, I love you. And then, of course, I'll tell you, I love you too.
Yeah.
And maybe we could start a life together.
Someone please do that to Forrest. he's been getting weird. Yeah, we have a guest. Tell them your deal.
What's your deal though?
Like, what is your deal? Like, what the hell is going on with you?
Yeah.
What's your name? What do you?
Okay, so in theory, my name is Kay.
Okay.
What about in practice?
In practice, my name is Catherine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want the social? Catherine on that thing.
I didn't like that. Forrest.
Let me out! So, do you want my social security number now or later?
Now.
No, we're putting it on that
We've had somebody give us that before.
Thank you. Is it Carl?
No, I'm waiting.
Okay.
It was Humberto.
Yeah, from the On the Street episode. But yeah, Kay Williams' social security number is on screen right now. Please take screenshots of it.
That's an interesting one, actually.
Yeah.
I've never seen 6405 before.
Yeah, it's weird. And that's a lot of twos at the beginning. Like a noticeable amount of
Like
twos.
5
Like my
straight
phone number.
twos.
Put that on screen right now.
Yeah, also her phone number,
Yeah.
which is all twos. Her phone number is all twos.
Okay, well, did you make these?
What can I say? I love to talk to her.
So, Kay, what do you like to do? What are you into? What do you?
Like, what's up?
I like writing.
Oh,
Okay.
Writing's
okay.
neat.
What kind of stuff do you write?
I write plays. I write music. Other things of that variety.
Yeah,
sometimes.
a lot of people, a lot of the audio audience would remember Kay for writing "Happy Birthday to You,"
Oh.
which premiered at VCU a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, to critical acclaim.
Very awesome.
We won. Count 'em. 2 salty dogs.
Yes, and I'm hearing that you guys are still getting Tony buzz to this day.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my god.
It's kind of like
I hear it.
it's kind of like how Leah Michele performed at the Tonys, even though Funny Girl didn't open that year and she wasn't the original Fanny Bryce.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
that's
but it's
what-
the only thing she knows how to read.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like when I don't know why I want to say Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil Patrick Harris.
For sure.
Neil Patrick Harris did like a Tony opening and like Spider-Man was like
Oh my god, and then
there.
Spider-Man wasn't. Then
And he-
Spider-Man got shut down.
Yeah, Spider-Man got turned off the dark, got shut down.
Yeah,
That was pretty awesome.
that was pretty awesome.
Right now I'm wearing a shirt for the
Is that your duck? How have I never seen this shirt before?
Kay is also a director, and last year she opened up her own company, Doomsday, to produce musical theater here at VCU, and I was a part of the very first Doomsday production as Ducker, the main character of Firebringer.
Shut the fuck up.
I am claiming.
Amazing.
Yeah, my mom, she had this shirt like made while I was away after she saw the show because she was like, I don't know. I guess she was very impressed by my performance.
Your mom has great taste.
Yeah.
yeah, right? And she knows him so well.
Yeah, a button up with my face on it. Hallelujah.
Honestly, it's like it's all he ever wanted in life.
I have photos of you holding your own cardboard cutout.
The cardboard cutout in my room.
Which is in his room now, which means
Yeah.
he sees it before he goes to bed and when he wakes up.
That's true. When I let Rocket out, he's always like nibbling
Yeah.
on it, and I'm like, hey, don't touch that. That's a prized possession.
Uh-huh. But it's just because Rocket wants a PC.
I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh,
Because
no.
Rocket who was it that was coming over to your apartment again that you needed to
Oh, yeah, pest control.
Pest control was coming over to the apartment and I believe they weren't aware that Rocket was here.
They said like
you gotta
secure your
tell
pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they texted me like the night before.
Okay. So he left left Rocket at my place. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I live alone.
Yeah,
No
goated
big deal.
friend maneuver, by the way.
No
Yeah.
big deal.
Thank you so much for that.
Literally don't. It's not.
He's
no big
super hard
deal.
to take care of. I would know. I've taken care of him.
But when George comes to pick Rocket up, we had my shoebox, which is like, it's like kind of cage-esque, so it was
Yeah.
like able to contain Rocket.
So he can run around and like eat food and like
Yes.
drink water while he
And I was like, man, Rocket's a really messy eater. There's a lot of like food pellets all over the floor. It was not food.
Oh,
No.
yeah. No.
He's,
It was not food.
He's a really messy shitter, I hear.
Yeah, if you go into look at his cage right now, there is heaps of shit.
But he likes it that way, by the way.
He does.
Yeah.
I clean
it makes
it
him
up.
feel comfortable.
I clean it up every once a week, so I have to do it tomorrow. Yeah, and so I came back and there was just like heaps of doo-doo on cage floor, and I was like, nah, I'll clean this up.
I was like, I'm a good friend. I'm not a great friend. You're cleaning that up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on, Kay. You're one of my closest friends. You're freaking awesome.
You're one of my closest
And
friends too.
I think you have so many stories. You've lived such a life. I think honestly, everyone here at this booth, this podcast,
This podcasting booth, our audio recording setup.
we've
Yeah.
lived such lives, and I was really trying to think of like how do we get Kay to like share these wonderful stories that she's amassed of being like such a great crazy just main character. That's what I would call
Did
each
you just
person.
call me crazy?
Nothing wrong with that.
George,
Crazy in
In
a
a way that means
wait,
fun.
wait, wait.
George looked at me
Slash
and
pause,
George
slash pause.
George looked at Forrest and went, man, these bitches be crazy.
Hey, dude,
I did not say that.
it's all he says. Anytime
all
he
he
talks
says.
about women, he's like,
He's like, man,
I mean,
these
yeah,
bitches are
don't
crazy.
get me wrong, she was a dime.
But she was such a broad.
Crazy dog, and I don't
He's
know
like,
if I
man,
can
she lived
keep
on Broad
doing-
Street.
She
Should have
lived-
known she was a whore.
She lived on Broad Street as expected.
He's like, I don't know, I keep going out with these broads. So, yeah, he definitely called you crazy and meant it.
Yeah.
In that tone.
Well, you'd be right.
Oh, okay.
It's good to own it. It's good to know.
I'm like a little crazy, and that's okay.
So
Make someone fun.
we just wanted to come on here, Kay, and just ask you the bare bones question. Kay, can you give us a piece of Kay lore? You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Wait.
1.
Do I blow up now?
Yeah.
Well, we will super glue you harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
you know all that thrashing you've been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more.
You
of
won't
that.
get that anymore. So I guess we can give you 5 more seconds. Now you
Yeah.
know.
now that you know the circumstances.
So,
Okay.
5,
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my
3,
gosh.
2, 1.
This isn't gonna work.
Oh, it is.
Okay, George, bust it out.
not.
Bust out the glue.
All right, I'll go grab the glue. All right, we'll give you.
Audio listeners love you to death. George is currently holding super glue in
I
his
have
hand.
gorilla
George
glue
is
in my
he's
hand.
doing like this thing
But,
and
uh-oh.
also that thing at the same time.
I did glue.
And he's saying, "This is your fault. You made me do this. You bitches
Yeah.
be crazy."
Yeah,
This
so
is
if you,
what I get for crazy bitches.
Yeah.
We'll give you.
You said the
15
nice guys
seconds.
always finish last, and then
Yeah.
you glued my arm to the to the armrest.
Yeah.
When are you gonna listen to that song and post about it on your Instagram story, George?
What song?
Nice Guys Finish Last.
By Lonely Island?
I was thinking
No,
Ryan.
you're thinking
Ryan
Ryan
Higa.
Higa.
Ryan Higa, yeah.
My
We were
fault.
just talking about Ryan Higa.
Sorry.
I loved Ryan Higa growing up. That was like,
Yeah,
probably the first
I-
YouTuber I ever really liked.
Oh,
We
I'm the right guy.
we talked about him.
We'll talk after the
extensively.
episode.
Okay.
15 seconds for a lore.
Give me like a prompt.
A prompt.
Yeah. Or did you
give
not
us-
think this far ahead?
Give us a funny story.
Give us like something really funny though. No, not that one.
That one's pretty good.
Ooh, I love that one.
Yeah, sure, that one.
I like how all these bits are visual.
That's not visual.
That was not visual.
I feel like we had some good audio
That's just
timing
because
on that one.
you know, like me and George are both visual. You know, we're like we're better in the room.
Which is why you started a podcast.
Yeah, that's why on my Tinder it says better in person.
That's why on my Tinder it says the second worst thing to happen to JFK. It does say that.
Well, tell us about JFK,
Okay. Well,
It is crazy that his head did that.
dude. Right?
well, listen. When it comes to JFK, there are a few things you need to know about him.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, is that it?
So you
There's
have
some-
no lore relating to JFK at all. So are you lying on your Tinder?
Do you have maybe any lore regarding like presidents? Maybe. Do you have like a story with like a president?
Oh, I
maybe?
do actually.
Fantastic.
So, back in 2021, I worked at a country club, and you can probably scope this out eventually, but I worked a lot of jobs at this country club. And at the time, a certain, now no longer president, but was president at the time, was a member of said country club.
Okay.
Let's just call him, I don't know, let's use a random name, America's favorite war criminal.
Oh, tight.
He's my number one.
Is he into hospitals?
I get it. I get it.
Okay, but we slowly started learning things about this president as we were working over the summer. Do you hear the alarm?
I think there's a
that's-
smoke alarm going
that
on
is
in another building.
Nothing to worry about. It's just a fire somewhere else.
I think I've revealed too much information. I think they're coming to get me. But one of my jobs was a server in the restaurant in the country club. And there's a wine room that is in the event room, which is a private event room. So the restaurant is connected to the event room. So I'm dealing with this old crabby couple. And they're like, we want our special wine from our wine cabinet. Because, you know, you have special wines for them. And I was like, yes, of course, I'll get that right away. So I go to, like, open the event door, and it's locked. And I'm like, oh, that's odd. So I, like, go to, like, in again, and
Trying
I
to jam
hear,
it open.
Yeah.
with my brute strength.
Oh,
It's true.
yeah.
Audio listeners, bulging muscles.
I'm jacked.
Audio listeners,
Video viewers,
one time Kay like punched me in the gut, and I went flying into a car.
yeah, I think there's actually still a hole.
Roll the tape.
Yeah, all the footage of me flying across like a
There's a
street.
George-shaped hole in the window.
Yeah, we
from
can't-
when he crashed through the window.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm like pulling on the handle, trying to get in, and I hear a voice behind me that goes like, taken. And I'm like, usually you're able to go in and out of the event room.
Sorry, that's bathroom talk. That's like what people do. That's like, that's not, you don't say that for like an event space.
I don't know. It was like,
oh, you mean like when people are like occupied?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they were taking a shit. I never got inside, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But I'm like, wait, this is stupid. So I go over to the crabby couple and I'm like, they're like an old couple. And that's how you know they're especially, sorry. Old people love you. That was rude.
Hey, to the old people listening, Kay loves you.
Yeah.
But you guys are crabby.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I actually love you. And if you're old, if you're over 70, you should come up to me and say, I've been waiting for you. And I will probably give you a big old kiss on the lips.
Like that.
Ew.
But that was George.
Yeah.
That was George. That wasn't Kay.
Audio listeners.
Audio listeners.
Yeah. For everyone who liked that little treat.
But, so I go over to the couple and they are wreaking havoc and they're like, they actually did that. Like,
They actually did. They went like that in real life.
Like a small dog.
but they're very insistent that they need to get their wine. So about 10 minutes pass, I've been knocking on the door, and finally I take back this time, bang on the door, and I say, I'm supposed to be in here. There should be someone there should be a staff member in this event room. This is stupid. And I get it, the door opens, and I'm like, oh, thank God, finally. And out steps a Secret Service agent.
Oh. Oh no.
This guy's
the party poopers? The fun police?
I mean, they might have been taking a party poop in there. And he goes, and I do remember this quote directly. Sasha Obama would appreciate it if you stopped interrupting her birthday.
Sasha Obama would really appreciate it if you stopped banging on the door real hard.
And I was like, you are, and I was like,
that seems like an event that you should have been privy to.
Yeah.
If you were working
my
there.
manager hated my guts, but that's a whole other story.
He was setting you up to fail.
He was. That's sabotage.
Yeah. He was setting me up to be murdered.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure there was a red dot on me at some point or some shit. But you know, me being me, I still have to argue. I'm like, I don't just take a second, please. I just want to click. Door slammed in my face.
Oh.
So I go back to the couple and I'm like, hey, you're not going to get your wine. And they're like, this is an outrage. You know, as they do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do at that point, so I just left.
Oh.
I mean, yeah.
You left your shift or
Yeah, I just left.
You went home?
What? Oh, I thought you just meant like you stopped waiting on them and maybe you like sent a manager.
I went, I'm going home. I can't do this. I'm pretty sure I almost died.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Secret Service guys are like a little intimidating.
You know what you should have done? You should have sent that old couple up to go chat with Sasha Obama.
Yeah.
They were
yeah.
Have them bang on the door. Have Secret Service put a red dot on them.
Oh, and Secret Service wouldn't care. They don't have much left. You know?
They'll definitely tackle that.
They
that
could.
old
Oh,
person.
I would. If I was in Secret Service, I'd be tackling left
Can
and
you
right.
edit out that cough? I just coughed.
Oh yeah. Forrest says that's bad for audio listeners.
Yeah, it's bad for watch time, actually.
There was a period of time during the first season of the Obligatory Podcast where I would cough every
episode. Dude, he was just doing bodily functions like no one's business.
This was like, sometimes you like...
Why is this episode so focused on bodily functions?
I'm sure we'll move away.
Or sometimes like you'll get sick and then you'll have like a cough afterward. For some reason, my cough lasted the entire summer, but...
I think it's because we were filming in your basement. Like...
Yeah, the stuffy basement.
Like 4 hours a day for fun, like all the time.
Yeah. And also
that's what it was.
This was like I would probably say this was at the peak of my no drinking water phase.
Oh, yeah.
So I was also just like purposefully like parching my throat like at all hours of the day.
Can I tell you how frustrating it was for him to basically not drink water at all while being a principal character in a musical I was directing? Can I tell you how fucking insane that was? Bringing in a Baja Blast to rehearsal.
Oh my god, dude, his soda problem is actually like it's better now for sure.
Bad.
He's fighting addiction and it's beautiful. But it was like insane. We talked about it. I talked about it with mutual friends. We were like, he drinks so much soda.
Yeah.
He drinks such a concern. Like, you guys think that it was bad. You didn't know him in high school.
Oh yeah.
It was like far worse.
Oh yeah, multiple bottles throughout like the 8-hour like shift.
Easy.
And then I'd go home and probably drink like 2 more.
And then you go home and you're like, I'm feeling thirsty. I'm gonna reach for that. I'll go diet.
Like, I don't know why I'm so thirsty right now.
I better drink a Diet Coke will fix this right now. Yeah. Water's gross.
Because George likes to think he can't sing. I personally think he can sing, but it killed me every time during The Night Belongs to Snarl, where like I'd see you like basically take a sip of the Baja Blast or some shit before you go on stage, and suddenly you go, tonight.
He doesn't know how to take care of his throat. That's what it is.
I do now. I showed you, Forrest.
It's true. He showed me how to gobble like a turkey earlier.
I did. We won't do it now.
It was frankly
next
arousing.
Week's episode. Oh.
Do I need to leave? Well, I would if my back wasn't glued.
Unfortunately, you're stuck.
You're glued to the chair. You cannot leave. And we wanted to hear another story.
Okay, I need a prompt.
Something about a theater. How about that? How about a funny theater story, maybe from maybe a show you've done, maybe a show that you haven't done, maybe like a class or something. I don't know.
Well, I could always talk about TableGate.
TableGate.
You know, I feel like that's gonna make its rounds around the department.
I would love to talk about TableGate.
It's gonna make. We don't know who's gonna watch this.
I don't care.
We bleep names.
I don't care.
And if they're smart enough for the context, they're smart enough to understand that they were in the wrong.
They weren't in the wrong though.
No, they were.
They were in the wrong.
Look, I'm here to tell you that I know nothing about this story and that they were in the wrong.
Yeah, go ahead and tell the audience about TableGate. If you want me to take the reins, I can.
You can, of course, also.
He's so excited.
Just say
to
no.
talk about
You can also not talk about
thing.
No, you can talk about the story.
Okay,
but you're taking the let the record show.
Are you doing PR right now? What the fuck is this?
I did not have sexual relations with that man.
Yeah, no, watch this fucking drive. Like, whatever.
Let the record show that I am not the one who is manning the train on the tracks of theater division. I
love TableGate. I was telling TableGate to like 3 other people. Okay, so basically what TableGate is, there's this one guy in the theater department here at VCU, and we all shared a class together last year, and we were doing monologues. And these monologues were to prep us for an upcoming theater assessment that would get us into the BFA. Okay. And this person, I'm pretty sure, was at that point interested in being a BFA major. And, during an audition, normal things to have would be like a chair that you can sit in, or like maybe sometimes they'll let you have like a pencil or something.
Sure, like a small prop that you can like kind of interact with so that you can get better into your character.
Yeah, just barely, like very small.
Yeah.
This guy walks over to the other side of the room, picks up one of the like big foldable tables and carries it over to like the center and like plops it down. And our teacher puts up with a lot. I have never seen her more dumbfounded in her life. She literally like, and like he sets it down. He's like getting ready. Like one thing that he does when he like gets ready to act is he like powers up like a machine. Like he'll be like, my name is Doodoo Stinky. I'm going to be performing.
Crazy name.
That's just the name that I'm giving.
That's the real name.
And he'll like be like,
my legal name.
Yeah.
Like,
why are you dead naming him right now?
My bad, Doodoo.
Stop dead naming him.
And he like puts his head down. And he's like, he gets ready. And he's like. And then he'll like look up and like kind of squint his eyes and like look at the audience and like kind of observe everyone.
You have to take it all in.
He really tries to take it all in. Yeah. So he's like getting ready to do that. And she's just like, excuse me.
This was after the table?
This was after the table was plopped down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our teacher, sorry, did you have something to say? Or?
Well, I guess.
No, what is
with
so
them,
important
I've done
this whole story?
nothing.
So
okay, fuck. I've done a very limited amount of theater in my life, mostly an early age. And, like something that you hear a lot is like make an impression.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe this person was just trying to make an impression?
No.
And that's beautiful and natural?
Well, I think he was trying to make an impression.
Well, I mean,
personal opinion, but I think we have been given the confines of what we are supposed to make an impression within.
Well, don't you think that sometimes geniuses think outside of the box?
Well,
absolutely. However,
I've been really deep lately.
He's in his deep era.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful.
It's beautiful and also natural.
Well, what was going through this guy's mind was like, the teacher asked like, what are you doing with that chair? And he looked her in the eyes and went, oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna use it.
Not chair, table.
Table, yeah. He was like, I'm not gonna use this table. And she was like, if you're not gonna use it, why is it there? And he went like, maybe I could like lean on it a little. And she was like, You're practicing this for an audition? Put that away. And he's like, okay. So he...
Wait, that's
so what was that
up,
about geniuses?
Straight up lying. Some people just don't understand genius when they first see it. But also, just straight up lying about the fact that he will or will not be using the table. I'm not going to use it. Maybe just, but like a skosh.
So he's like, okay, I'll put it back. So he like grips the sides of the table and like hoists it into the air a little bit too fast, and it slams into the roof of the room we were in, knocking down one of the legs like on the table. He doesn't notice that, so now he's walking. Everybody's laughing at him. Everybody's laughing at him except for
let's call him Ike.
Ike, yeah. Ike is not laughing. He's like, he just doesn't really understand what's going on. He's an older guy, and so he's trying to like put the table down, but he doesn't realize that like the leg like fell down. So now Ike's like waddling over to come help him, and like
waddling is such a crazy
I
term
think
for that.
I'm on the floor laughing. I think Kane and Ike are like looking at me like, what is he doing?
I think that was the most beautiful bonding moment I've ever had with the theater department.
It was all of our mutual confusion over this guy's choices in that moment. And that's a beautiful piece of George and Kay lore that we got to just witness.
We were friendly, but I wouldn't even say we were friends at that point.
Not at that point.
Yeah, no, because I wouldn't say it was until like maybe like roughly the end of the first semester or the end of last fall semester we became friends, and then we became slowly friends during Firebringer, and then during Little Woman.
That's when
we were just
it really started. But I think one of the key bonding moments, as you said, was that moment of just general like, what the hell's going on here?
What the hey, man?
Certainly you have to appreciate him for his confidence. I think that
is it confidence or is it blissful ignorance?
That is still confidence.
Okay.
I think for me, like, I have...
But confidence can be misplaced.
No, it's definitely not always a good thing. Confidence is, I would say, often leads to some bad things. Like, a healthy amount of confidence is obviously fantastic.
Yes.
But some people are just like so confident in what they're doing at all times. They don't have the second thought of like, oh, maybe this like isn't the move. Mm-hmm. And I find those people fascinating. They're some of my favorite people to like observe in this world.
Yeah.
I work in restaurants. Mm-hmm. And so like every now and again with restaurants, sometimes the job turnover rate is really fast.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Especially like...
I mean, sometimes you have servers that just walk out in the middle of
exactly. Especially in back of house, right? So like sometimes you'll get in a cook and they'll just be like so belligerently confident. We had this one guy come in when I was working at a hotel, and he was like, seemed relatively normal for like a few hours, and we had our lineup and we asked him the questions of... that we always ask: if your hand was cut off in a free kitchen accident, what kitchen utensil would you replace it with? Yeah.
Literally on the first day of Firebringer rehearsals, my question for the culture was: if you were a kitchen utensil, what utensil would you be?
Oh my god, amazing! So
my answer: pocket ladle.
And we didn't know what a pocket ladle was, and neither did he, because it doesn't exist.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
But funnily enough, I do choose like 12-ounce ladle for my hand.
Really?
Yeah, it's a portable cup.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, like most people, I think like they search for cup holders, but I could myself become that.
But it wouldn't be like, it would get like warm and have like germs in it after like...
I clean that shit.
30 seconds.
Hello. Hand sanitizer, ladle sanitizer.
Oh, you bring your little bottle of ladle sanitizer.
You put hand sanitizer in the thing you drink?
No, I use ladle sanitizer for that. Anyway, so this guy comes in, and he's like, doesn't have much experience. Well, he has a lot of experience, but it's all at country clubs. And I was working at like a fine dining place, so like it's kind of it's like a little different. And he's like prepping like a kind of like a maniac, and he like his knife work like isn't that good. Like nothing he's doing is like really that great, but like it's fine. I fucking guess. And we get to service time, so we're like all on the line, and I have him on my station to like teach him. And I was on grill station that night, and that station is set up with like a cutting board and a knife so that I can like cut meat. And I'm grilling meat, whatever, and I'm like, oh hey dude, can you flip this? And he's like, yeah, sure. And at the same time he's like, oh, can I borrow your knife? And I was like, yeah, I guess you can like use my knife for like a piece of prep like right now. That's fine. And he takes my knife and he puts it on the grill and he flips a piece of meat with it.
Ooh.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Give me my knife back. Don't touch it ever again.
Oh my God.
And then I see him do that with another person's knife. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Like the fact that it was your knife wasn't the key problem.
Yeah, I know.
That was not
that was a petty knife and he did it with someone else's chef knife. Maybe it's different. Fucking whatever. So, whatever. We get through that weird ass night of service and I'm like, this guy's odd, but I guess he just like worked at a different level with like less discipline. That's okay. The next day, he comes into prep. I see him go into chef's office. I see him leave with a backpack. I'm the only person that sees him leave with a backpack.
Is it all knives? Is
No.
it all knives?
I'm the only person that sees him leave with a backpack. And I'm like, yo, did anyone else just see that guy walk out? And they were all like, what do you mean he walked out? I'm like, yo, did anybody else see this guy walk out? And they're all like, what are you talking about, dog? And I'm like,
no one's worked here for 30 years.
He just left with a backpack. Did he just like leave forever? And they're like, no, I'm sure that he's just like, I don't know, I'm sure that he'll come back. 5 minutes later, chef comes out and he's like, so it turns out that he wasn't legally allowed to leave Ohio yet because he was still on... He had like just gotten out of jail.
Oh, like probation?
Yes. He was still on probation and not legally allowed to leave the state. And his move was to come to DC and work in a fine dining restaurant. And so what happened is he had gotten a call from the state of Ohio being like, hey, where are you?
Yeah,
and he
Mr.
went,
Ohio.
Oh, I left. I'm working in DC.
That was my nickname in high school.
Mr. Ohio?
Yeah.
I'm working in DC now. And then went, you need to come back right now. And he went into chef's office and he went, hey, I got to go back to Ohio. Sorry, I haven't like filled out any paperwork yet, so you didn't know about this. And he took the fucking next train.
Isn't there like a question on your like hiring thing if it's like...
It was not well organized as a hotel. And that's doesn't reflect us as a restaurant because it all went through a hotel.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, it was a whole thing.
From both of those stories, I'm gathering the lesson that some people just cannot be taught.
No,
some people just
shut up right now.
But you have to respect the people that are like so belligerently confident. Like they deserve an amount of respect. It might not mean that they're like fantastic or anything like that. But to me, it's impressive.
For me, confidence must be paired with at least some form of intelligence.
Oh, well, that's ideal. Don't get me wrong. That's how I think it should be.
It's not an idealization for me. It is the bare minimum.
No, yes. That's how it should be. But
you have a
at some point, like, there's
that's not to say the people in either of these stories are not intelligent.
No, this guy wasn't.
Okay, well, not to say that this person in this story was not intelligent. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying, like, in that moment, it's like...
I think that, for me, I have a really big pet peeve of people being stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Because I strongly believe in that as a choice. Like, I really don't think that anybody's, like, actually stupid because they're stupid. I think they're stupid because they're not choosing to be smart or, like, not choosing to learn or, like, do self-reflection or, like, whatever. And I can't imagine that. Like, I can't imagine, like, not having, like, any willingness to, like, do self-reflection or something. I have respect for them out of the sheer, like, reason that I don't understand anything that happens in their brain. And I'm like, that's kind of hype.
That makes sense. Forrest, you're kind of on a roll right now telling your stories. Do you have a random piece of lore that maybe you'd like to share?
We'll give you 5 seconds.
In 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This will be easy for a guy like me, of course.
This will be easy for a guy.
This will be easy for a guy like me.
This will be easy for a guy like me, of course.
Stalling.
I'm choosing.
This is over 5 seconds, I think.
This is over 5 seconds.
Do you guys want... Okay. Do you want Middle school or sleepaway camp?
Sleepaway camp.
Great.
Good choice.
So I used to go to this sleepaway camp every year for like 3 weeks.
Wait, what was...
It was called Camp Let's.
Okay.
It's in Maryland.
Oh my gosh, wait. I think I was choosing between 2 camps to go to, and Camp Let's was the one I didn't go to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Should have gone. Crazy place.
I went to Sandy Hill.
And so like I would go every year, and at some point, like, I don't know, I became like a really big camp guy. I still am like a really big camp guy. I think it's awesome. And I have a lot of crazy stories from it, but one of my favorites that I think is like something that many people wish had happened to them, but doesn't really get to happen in real life is what I'm about to tell.
Okay.
So,
Good setup.
right?
It's kind of a setup, Samuel.
In this sleepaway camp, it's like a few hundred people, and there's like a big mess hall that we all have meals in. And during the meals, we have crews that are gender divided and age group. And there's like a cup that you win at the end of the week based off of points. And one of the ways that you can get points is by cheering during lunch. So, like all of these groups have like cheers that they do that are like parodies of songs or whatever. It's like a lot of shouting. It gets very loud. If you're easily overstimulated, it's not fun for you. But if you're not, it's very fun, and it's like part of camp culture. But also that means that there's obviously like inherent rivalries that will sometimes get a little intense. Okay. So like, the Mariners are like, ooh, we're great. And then the boys of the same age are like, who cares? Oh. And like, they'll go back and forth with that, and tensions will rise. And then we had certain ways of letting out these tensions. Of course, we had like pranks that we would play. We'd replace all of your tables with canoes and whatnot. But one day, we were all sitting at the table, and we were just off of one of these like cheering rivalries. And I'm like talking to my friend next to me, and across the table, somebody gets mashed potatoes to the face.
Oh.
And I'm like, the fuck is going on?
Did they not react at all?
No, he got mashed potatoes. He looked around, and he's
like...
No,
I really hope it was a dead scene.
He's like,
It's like the fucking war photo.
Is that what you're saying? He just has mashed potatoes like leaking out of his ears.
And I'm like, oh, okay, like, one of us is like fucking with him. And then he gets... And someone else at another table near me, I see it this time, food flies from the girl's side and lands on like 2 tables away.
I support women's wrongs.
Same guy?
Yeah.
Same
different guy.
Okay.
Different guy. And so then what should have not happened was a counselor picked up food and went and chucked it, beelined it like right for one of the girl counselors, because obviously they're all fucking and flirting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're also living together for the whole summer. And that gives us, the table,
the green light,
permission to go all the way.
Yeah.
So
who did you kill?
Nobody. So, we're picking up food, we're launching it across, tables are getting flipped up, like we're
like a barricade.
Yeah, like I'm hiding behind a chair.
It's like the Ruby season 2 opener.
You got like a bell pepper like rip off the like fucking like a grenade.
Seed bomb out. And
brought a Molotov cocktail.
And everybody is starting to join in. The little kids, the middles, the older kids, counselors, and tables are getting flipped. I'm hiding behind chairs. I'm with this guy. We're like launching up, hiding, launching, hiding. And I go up to launch food as my friend like peeks out, just like half his face. Mashed potatoes right to his face, lands right in his eye. And then, this food fight happens. The hall's a fucking mess. The camp director walks in, sees a food fight happening, grabs the mic and goes, "What is going on?" And everything kind of like, the counselors stopped right away, and they went, it's out of control in here. We can't do anything.
When they have like pizza like in their hand and like a lunchbox to like.
Someone's face is actively being shoved into like a bowl of pasta.
Yeah. Somebody throws food at her, and she goes, "Everything stops right now. Everything stops." That kid eventually got kicked out.
Wow. Was that you?
No. And
Is that your villain origin story?
And she's like, okay, everybody, campers, you are cleaning this up and returning it back to like better than you found it, whatever. And then you get to go and no fiesta, nothing else happens for the rest of the day. You sit in your fucking cabins. And we're all like, yeah, okay.
Yep.
This makes sense.
That's the consequence.
But this guy who got mashed potatoes in his eye, like some people need to go to like the clinic.
Yeah.
So like he goes to the clinic, they like ship him off to like urgent care.
Ship him off.
Ooh.
Like he got wounded in war.
He did. Our counselor comes back and he's like, yeah, so Miles, you know, like food fight that happened, like Miles got like blinded in his right eye.
Oh.
Yeah. Mashed potatoes to the eye.
Garfield, you're being SRS right now?
Yes. Mashed potatoes to the
Okay.
fucking
That's really
eye.
unfortunate.
Fuck, that
Yeah.
actually really sucks.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I don't know, I was in like a movie style, like dream sequence food fight. And I cherished.
Not a dream for him.
I know. Like I cherished that from like my
Shout
point of
out
view.
Miles.
And I'm like, ooh,
Shout out Miles.
this sucks for this kid.
If you're listening, Miles, hope your eye feels better.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was temporary, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Maybe it got better.
Miles, if you're listening, I love you.
Miles, if you're listening, comment down below if your eye got better.
Yeah, let me know.
Miles, if you're listening, you should find my address and use my phone number. That's flashing on the screen right now.
Back on the screen.
Yeah, and maybe file some
And-
taxes with this social security.
Yeah, and you should find me. We're putting my address up right on the screen right now.
Oh, goody. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you noticed how it's flashing?
Yeah.
Rainbows.
What? No, okay, no, it's not anymore. All right, it's gone.
And if you find me, Miles, I'll give you a big old kiss.
Kiss,
Wow.
kiss right on the lips.
Yeah. I'll give you a big old kiss, Miles.
That's crazy though. You were in like a movie, like food fight.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of awesome though. But also,
I
it's
have
certainly
a
bad.
story.
Oh.
So, I don't have a lot of camp stories. My camp experience, to my knowledge, was fairly uneventful. It was like very regular camp stuff.
Should have gone to mine.
Clearly.
And gotten blinded in one eye.
Nah. I would have hit you with mashed potatoes though.
Exactly.
But he would have aimed for the forehead or
Yeah,
like
it
the
would
arm
have
or something,
like
not
an
the
egg.
eye.
I don't believe you.
Or like the neck. He probably aimed for the neck or something.
I would aim for the neck.
Like ice cubes.
I'm known for throwing things at people's necks.
I would ask to elaborate, but I really
You
want
have to tell your
this
story,
so.
Yeah, just watch episode 3 of the Obligatory Podcast.
Okay, I haven't watched every episode. I've watched a few.
Oh, we'll talk after the episode.
We will.
So I have to leave out a lot of names of places because of this, because law enforcement is in fact involved.
Okay, I will remember to bleep everything out if you slip.
Thank you.
FYI.
So people can eventually connect the dots, but for legality's sake,
I would love not to get sued.
well, you wouldn't get sued. In 2019, I was attending a summer conservatory for musical theater. And it's a pretty well-renowned school for theater. And I was attending it with my friend David, who's actually coming into town in a few days. Very
Shout out
exciting.
David.
Shout out David. David, if you're watching, no. But
I'll give you a big old fat smooch.
I will not give David a big
Right on
old fat
those lippy
smooch.
lips.
And I'll give you one on your nose. How about that?
And it's happening at the same time.
Yeah. And my eyes are open.
Yeah.
You've seen Challengers.
And also, I have both of your lips in my mouth.
Please continue, guys.
David's gonna watch this.
Yeah, he's gonna. Oh boy.
Yeah, he's gonna get very excited, like me when George
You're
Collins.
gonna meet him on Saturday.
And he's gonna wink.
Right on the nose.
You're gonna have to look them in the eyes. All right, so, this is like a 3-week to a month program, something around that. It's like maybe like 24 days, something around that point. And we form like a small group. I'm not friends with a lot of people who are in the musical theater conservatory, but I make friends with people in the acting conservatory and like the directing conservatory. And nothing against the musical theater, we just didn't gel. And these people, one of the people we become friends with is the RA, who is currently there at college.
Okay.
So, this group of friends and I, we all become pretty close in a short amount of time. And you need that context. Like, most of us still talk to each other to this day, even though we had only really ever met each other for like 3 weeks.
That's how it is at weird camps.
And it's because we are bonded by a certain event.
Okay.
So, our RA, he is like, have you ever seen, and this is going to give away the location, the Gorges.
Okay.
And we go, no, what are the gorges? He's like, there are these cliffs that have water below them, but it's illegal to swim in them.
Okay.
But we should go swim in them.
Oh, yeah, obviously. That sounds like so much fun.
So the first time we go, we end up going, and it's really fun. I end up jumping off like a 40 or 50-foot cliff into some water. It was really fun.
That's super fun.
Yeah, I love cliff jumping. Whole other agenda. I love cliff jumping. But it's a great time. We all really enjoy it. So we decide to go back. And at this point, there is a neighboring college to this college, and it is an Ivy League school. So there are people there over the summer at that Ivy League school, and they are college students, and they are getting fucking lit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to do?
I mean, this school, that Ivy League school is very much known for its very depressed students. So they're getting lit as fuck. And I don't really drink at this point or smoke. So, I mean, I'm like 15 or 16. Like, not really up my alley personally.
I was the same way.
But, sorry, I feel like I'm inserting a lot of ums into this story. It will get good, I promise.
That's okay. I'm enthralled.
You have to leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
You have to treat these people
So this is the end
like
of the story.
That was the story. They were getting lit.
Yeah, they were getting lit. So, naturally, our RA, who is the only adult in this situation, everyone else is 15 to 16, maybe one 17-year-old in this situation, goes, let's go mingle.
Okay.
It's time to mingle. I mean, duh.
So we go mingle. It's a fun time. I'm pretty sure, though, I'm getting hit on by like a 21-year-old, and I'm very open about the fact that I'm 16 or 15 at this point.
Yeah.
I was like, he was like, so what are you doing around here? And I was like, I don't know, I'm waiting for a call from my mommy. Like,
that's hot.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm like,
we start, because these very inebriated people are doing kind of stupid things, we kind of start doing stupid things, like going to higher and higher cliffs. Yeah. And at one point, there is a cliff on this gorge where you can jump down onto a water tower and then jump off of the old rickety water tower into the water. It's very high up. And not a lot of people are doing it, but my friend, I don't want to say her name, but let's call her
Denise.
Yeah, my friend Denise and I
love Denise.
Yeah. Denise, if you're watching.
Me and Denise, actually, funny story. Me and Denise went to preschool together.
Really?
Yeah.
Fun fact, Denise and I were in the same womb.
Oh, really? Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well,
yeah,
that
but we're
doesn't
not
make any
twins.
sense.
That's some
because
crazy
she didn't
lore.
bring you up in preschool.
They were separated.
It was a rough.
Me and Denise dated in preschool, actually.
Okay.
So Denise, if you're watching this, he's gonna give you
Please
a big old
keep
kiss
going.
on the lips. But at this point, we start scaling the cliff. We are climbing up the cliff. And you have to hop down to the water tower, and on the water tower there are these towels to break your fall.
For sure.
Because it's like a metal tower.
Yeah.
Or like steel or some shit. So I jump. My friend Denise, she jumps. And then, people from this other school start jumping as well. And we're not jumping into the cliff, we're just jumping onto the tower. And this one girl seems pretty, like, I didn't even notice her at this point, I'm gonna be honest. But she jumps. And I'm not even looking when she jumps. But all I hear is...
Ooh.
And I turn around. And her bone is out of her body.
Oh, dude, that's fucked up.
I don't like that. Oh.
Yeah, and I immediately am panicking. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? What the fuck do I do?
Yeah. Was she one of your, like...
No.
Okay.
I'd never met this one in my life.
Was she, like, nonchalant about it?
No, she was crying. I would.
Your femur is breaking out of your thigh. That's not something to be nonchalant about.
She was pretty... It wasn't the femur. It was, like, the bone by your ankle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But... she's screaming and crying, and someone else there is like, holy shit, we have to call the cops. So we're just shouting down, like, someone call 911. And then we realize, holy shit, that means there's going to be cops here.
Yeah.
And we're all illegally swimming in the gorge. Everyone's late as fuck, for lack of a better term. Yeah. And our RA, who is the only adult, is here and encouraging us to drink.
Yeah.
And like, mingle with these adults.
Yeah.
So, naturally, no one had jumped off the water tower yet because everyone was too afraid to do that. But I'm like, are you going to be okay? And she's like, you're underage. You need to go. So... Naturally, I can't go back that way. She's blocking the exit.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Tell her to move?
So, hey, get out of the way.
yeah. So I jump off the water tower into the water.
One last little dip.
Yeah, one last little dip. And then my friend Denise is terrified, as she was, because she thought...
It's a normal thing to be.
Yeah, because I told her when she was going up with me, I was like, well, if you hate it, you can just go back that way.
Yeah.
I was like, you can just back out. Like, it'll be fine. Yeah. But I was like, but I just want someone to, like, come up with me, so I'm not alone. And she's freaking out, but I'm like, you can't go back that way. We have to go. The cops are arriving now. And I'm shouting this from, like, 50 to 60 feet below her. And I kid you not, I watch her life flash before her eyes as one of the college guys picks her up, and chucks her in.
Oh my god.
To the gorge.
That's real of that guy too.
And I'm like, oh, he's saving her life in this moment, but I'm like, holy shit, the scream that left Denise.
Yeah.
And like she's like freaking out when she gets below, and I'm grabbing her arm and I'm like, we gotta go, like right fucking now. So we go, and like our other friends are across the way, and they're like, what's going on? And we're like, cops are coming. And our RA, of course, fucking books it. But he did stop to check on us about 30 seconds later. I think he grew a conscience.
He was like, wait a minute.
Because I think he also realized that we could just rat him out.
So you jumped into the water and swam from the cops?
We jumped into the water, and then they were like two cliffs and a gorge in between them.
Okay.
So we jumped off the water tower on this side, and then scaled the cliff up on that side again, and then started running through the forest.
Okay, yeah.
So then when we all finally make it back far enough, we're like gasping for air, like there are some tears, and we just all kind of decided that a good chunk of us were bonded for life at that point.
Yeah, that's really a good way to, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and eventually a helicopter had to be brought in to grab her in the gorge, because you can't get to the water tower.
That makes sense.
Can't get her off the stretcher like that. She's fine. She's good. But it ended up on the news and everything, and there were many arrests made.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So, but for legal purposes, I was not there.
Okay, that's good.
No, I didn't.
No, I just heard about this from my buddy.
Yeah, I heard that you weren't there, actually.
My buddy, Denise.
You're famous for stealing stories.
You're telling a story from a friend.
Yeah.
I have a little story.
You swam from the cops?
I didn't swim from the cops, but it is another.
You didn't swim
story.
from the cops?
No, I did not swim. I did not. There were no cops involved, unfortunately. So my story is a little bit lame. Yeah, you can go ahead and boo. And you can
Man, if I wasn't super glued to this chair, I would leave.
But yeah, when I was really young,
Sorry, that was crazy. I'll just like.
We locked in.
Oh my god.
When I was really young, I used to do taekwondo. I've mentioned this like a couple of times on the pod. I've never gotten.
You were
into,
a black belt, right?
No. What?
I believe you said that you won many competitions.
Yeah, I am a world-renowned champion at taekwondo.
Go on, show us one of your taekwondo moves.
You could do a really sick tornado kick.
I would, but I accidentally glued myself to this chair, so I actually cannot.
Yeah, that shit's super sticky.
Man, I need some more water. If only someone was. I'm fucking with you.
If only. Yeah, it's something that I've mentioned, but I've never told a story for it until now.
Ooh,
over the summer, something that this like taekwondo like camp, I guess, would do is every Friday they would take the kids on a little trip somewhere. They would take us to like Chuck E. Cheese or to the pool. That was like the main destination. And this story, we were going to the pool, right? But this is like super into the like summer. I'd already been there for like a couple of years. I'm still one of the youngest people there going to this pool. And one of the masters, I guess is what we called them, was like, yo, fuck this shit. We go to the pool all the time. No, not verbatim. We were all kids. But she was like,
I thought it'd be funny.
She was like an adult person, and she was like, I don't want to go to this pool. I'm going to take some of these kids and we're going to go like explore the woods a little bit.
That's kind of cool.
I don't know if she like cleared that with like our headmaster. From what I remember, it was a spur of the moment, like, let's go over here, you guys. So I go, my brother's like having a blast at the pool. I've never been a big fan of the pool. So I'm like, yeah, let's freaking go to the woods.
Yeah.
And so we're like going really, really deep in there, looking at lots of cool plants and, making connections with these people that I like spend a lot of time with. And I'm like just starting to really get to know. And then we come to this like little not river. It's like a really shallow like river, like little wetlands area, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, we was walking through there, and in the far distance, I see some strange man. I see some just strange like guy. He looks maybe like 19, 20 years old, right? And like the older kids are kind of like looking at each other like, oh, we probably shouldn't like approach that guy, you know? But 8-year-old me, who was real into making friends at this point, shouts from like across.
Nothing has changed.
A little social black belt butterfly.
Yeah. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
You can do a tornado kick in friendship.
A tornado kick into people's hearts. That's how charming I am.
You're 100 feet tall. But you're charming.
Well, at this point, I was a little lima bean. I was like
50 feet
I was
tall.
like 3 feet
You're
tall.
100 millimeters tall.
But I'm still charming. I see this guy from like across, and I'm like, "Hey, man!" I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Oh, he
Flag
probably
him
thought
down.
he was okay.
And he looks up. He's like, "Oh,
Social anxiety fears you.
There are people here." So he comes up to us, and he's like telling us like, "Oh yeah, my car broke down, so I'm just kind of like waiting for like a mechanic to come by." And we're like, all right, we'll hang out with you for a little bit.
That sounds good.
And, you know, he's telling us about like, yeah, you know, I'm really into butterfly knives. And he like pulls out like a butterfly knife from like his pocket. And he's like showing us like super awesome, like super quote unquote awesome tricks. I thought they were awesome at the time because, you know, whoa, older kid, this is superb. And, you know, our master's like kind of looking at like, how do we get out of here? And like the more things that he's saying, the more things that are like not really making sense. Cause there was like a house right over there. And at one point he's like, yeah, my house is right over there. Like that's the place that I live at. And the older kids are kind of like, wait a minute, you said your car broke down.
Was the teacher still like
Yeah, she was still there. She was watching the whole thing like unfold. She just didn't know like what was her cue to leave. Until at one point, he's like, yeah, there's this like bicycle that's stuck in the mud over there. Do you guys want to like come over and like help me like get it out? And of course, I'm dumb.
Little does he know he's dealing with a black belt.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see him try something. I would have grabbed his fist and like pulled him into the water and started like drowning him a little bit in the water.
You would have crawled up and gotten in his ear.
That's how tiny I was. I would have gotten in his nostrils and like started like tugging his nose hairs and started like moving him around Ratatouille style. No, but he's like around that corner. There's a bike. I need help like pulling it out. And that's when our teacher's
around
like,
the corner in the woods.
Yeah, he's like,
you know how there's many corners of the woods.
Well, I mean, he's just like it was like a river bank and like
sure,
or like a stream. It was a stream bank and like. Around it, he was like, there's a bike over there, you guys want to help me get it out? I'm like, yeah, let's fucking do this shit. Like, this sounds like a dope adventure. But our teacher's like, nah, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And something important to note about this guy was that he was wearing a red shirt. He was wearing a very bright red shirt. And so we're leaving, and he's like kind of following with us a little bit. I think because we like mentioned there was like a net over here that we were like curious what it was, and he like followed over and he was like, yeah, that sure is a net. And we're like, all right, thanks, man.
Expert.
So we're like
incredible observation.
We're kind of walking through like the woods like a little bit, and, like, you know, being like, man, that guy was super weird. There was something strange about that guy. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? I thought he was pretty charming. I thought he was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's actually where you learned all of your charm.
This is actually how we talk about George when he leaves the room.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he was charming, and everyone's like, well.
Yeah. This is how you talk about George, and then everyone goes, like, I was fucking weird.
Weird. Did you see his cow suit?
Does he have a Flintstones costume?
Yeah, and you know, we're walking back, and my teacher like looks back, and in between like two of the trees, she sees like a bright red thing like kind of just like duck a little bit. And like she sees that alarms are blaring, and she's like, we gotta run. And we just like run the rest of the way like out of the woods, like into the pool. And yeah. That means the camera's dead.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's okay. We move on. So what we do here is we make a podcast that has many technical difficulties.
Okay.
And because I'm always like chilling all the time, it's super chill.
Whereas I'm charming and I get like super anxious about it. But in this case, just gotta let it slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like
We
Put
just
footage
going
of a
with
shaky
that?
camera through the woods.
yeah, that's
Audio listeners love you to death.
love you to death. I am currently running through the woods right now with the camera, scared for my life because I'm being chased in real life.
Why are you Mr.
Wait, how
Beast
old?
voicing
How
right
old
now?
were you at this point?
I think I was like 7.
7. So that is. See, you go to kindergarten in 5th grade. At least 2 seminars about Say No to Strangers. Deep. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. I was obviously not paying attention during those
I
lessons.
feel like you learned stranger danger. I very quickly unlearned stranger danger.
Oh yeah.
Not quickly, actually. I'd say it probably took me till I was like, probably like 17 or 18. And I was like, wait, I don't give a shit. They're like, they could murder you. And I was like, but if I make it out, that'd be so funny.
It's a funny story.
I was super down with stranger danger until I realized I was like a white man, and I was like,
Oops.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
You unlocked a cheat code. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
for real.
I think we should go around and share just one more story, one more piece of lore from our lives.
Wait, well, okay, you right.
I mean,
were the
you-
cops involved with that?
No, we.
Oh, the whole time I was waiting for your
I think it's
cop
because it was with
tie-in.
the woods.
Ah, okay.
We never like that. I don't think our teacher told like the head person.
No,
about
you
this,
wouldn't if you
'cause
were her,
They would have
would
gotten
you?
fired.
Yeah.
and there were other events like smaller things that happened that like teachers got fired over. I don't want to get into that right now. I
Yeah.
want to save that for a later like overall martial arts like type of episode in the
Yeah.
future. But yeah, if you guys have another story that you'd like to share before we wrap up, we have 30 minutes left, so we can
Have
do another one.
I talked about blowing up lighters on this podcast yet?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
I was almost arrested for attempted arson.
Oh,
Have I? I thought I talked about this on this podcast like a while ago.
please speak on that. You've never mentioned that.
So, when I was in middle school, I was, it was right across the street from like a strip mall. And you know, like strip malls all have like little like back areas
Yeah.
that like people will hang out in. So I was people. And you know, like school gets out, you have really nothing to do. You pop on over to the strip mall. I don't know, let's call it Pear Alley.
Okay.
So you're over at Pear Alley and you're like, oh fuck man, there's like nothing to do these days. And you're with your like group of friends and you go to Dollar Tree and you go to Five Below and you think about going to McDonald's, but you end up at Wendy's.
Yeah.
But you're like, you really just need shit to do because mom's not coming until like 5,
Yeah.
Okay.
6. So you're just like fucking out of things to do. And you always have a spot that you hang out with that's like, where your friend group hangs out.
Oh, yeah.
My friend group hung out in the like near the dumpsters where like the like power generators were, kind of like, you know, like we would just like sit against like that wall, just kind of like chat or whatever.
Did the dumpsters like smell? Like,
No. We were far enough away from the dumpsters, but that's just like the
Okay.
general
Okay.
area. It was
that
like
was
a,
like the most. That was,
it was
like,
I would call like a back.
it.
It was
I
like
was
a
like,
back area.
okay.
that was the point of interest. Was the dumpsters?
No, the point of interest is that it was like kind of secluded, but not really.
okay.
And you know, after enough Dollar Tree trips, you're like, fucking lighters. So I start buying Dollar Tree lighters, and I'm like, these are really cheaply made. Like they're just like plastic and flint, and that's like it. And because they're so cheaply made, you can kind of just like chuck them against the ground. And if you chuck them against the ground enough, they crack.
Yeah.
And if you all the like lighter fluid in there is aerated. So when it cracks, it starts like spraying out.
Oh my god.
So if you take another lighter and you take that lighter fluid that's spraying out and you light it, you see really big fire for a moment, and then it makes its way back into the chamber. It all lights and boom,
Yeah.
blowing up lighter.
Yeah. Audio listeners, Forrest is currently demonstrating this in George's apartment.
Yeah, he is lighting a lighter against my chinchilla that Kay is now holding up. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Let me put him away.
It's all gonna be chill.
His name's Rocket. He needs fuel.
That's
So yeah, you know, like I got super into blowing up lighters for like a month. It was like I don't know. I was just like into it. So, you know, I'm in Fair City. I'm with my girlfriend and like 2 guys that I hang out with a lot that I like wouldn't be caught dead talking to now.
Okay.
And
Talking about Denise.
I'm talking about Denise. That was my girlfriend at the time.
Denise, Daryl, and Stevie.
For sure. And I'm throwing lighters against the ground in our hangout spot, and I'm blowing them up, and it's like super fun time. Great time, man. And I keep doing it, and one of them goes off, and my friend's like, I'm facing towards the wall, kind of. My friends are facing out. And my friend's kind of like, I see like a look on their face. And then I see them leave.
They ditched you?
Yeah. And then I see my girlfriend, and she kind of like backs off.
She ditched you?
Crazy relationship.
Yeah.
And so I'm like here, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is up? Like, I'm just like blowing lighters like I normally do. And suddenly everybody's like lame. So I turn around, and about like 3 meters from me is this cop with his phone out, walking towards me and recording me.
He was putting you on Facebook Live.
And I was like,
You were going straight to you now.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Am I about to be on Live Leak? And he comes up to me, and he's like, and I put my hands behind. My hands are full of lighters. I put my hands behind me, and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, why are you recording me? And he's like, I don't really know. And I'm like, can you stop? And he's like, sure. And he puts his phone away, and he's like, what are you doing?
Crazy interaction.
I know, right? Like that was my opener. I was 12. And my hands are behind me, lighter's full, and he's like, what are you doing? And he thinks I'm smoking weed. And I'm like, not much, I'm just kind of like chilling. He's like, show me what's behind your back.
No.
And I did, and I show him.
You should have dropped the lighters.
And it's like two to three lighters in like each hand. And he's like, what are you doing with these? And I'm like, okay, I'm past the point of this interaction where like if he was going to do something rash, it would have happened. I could start talking to this guy. So I'm like, okay, yeah, so since these are like super cheap, I like blow them up. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, well, I like throw them on the ground, and then I light it, and then it blows up. And he's like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know, it's like fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, do you realize what you're doing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm blowing up lighters. And he's like, no, do you realize that right there is a power generator for the entire strip mall? And bear in mind, I'm like a few feet away at most. I don't think about what that green thing is. That's where all my friends were sitting. That's how close I am.
That's where the audience was.
Yeah, for real. And so
you were gonna throw out a souvenir to them soon.
And so he's like, are you aware what that is? And I'm like, not really. And he's like, that's a power generator for the whole strip mall.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I could have you for attempted arson. And I was like, okay.
Are you going to?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that. Can you
be cool?
Can we be chill? And he was like, this time I'll let you off. And then walked away and started texting. And I was like, fucking tight.
He had places to be. That's crazy.
He had lighters to blow up now.
I know. I was like, you want to share? He didn't even confiscate them. He was just like, don't ever do this again.
Okay. Well, as you said in the last episode that we recorded for us, you do not think all cops are bastards. And that is that is a prime example of you believing that for us.
And then I think I did it once in my middle school bathroom.
Oh, that's the place to do it.
That's hype, though.
For my final little story, I want to talk about my experience seeing the Mario movie.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah,
what?
it's
how long you got after this?
It's kind of the biggest KL is that she hasn't seen the Mario movie, which means she's living life good.
Frankly disappointing.
Yeah, obviously, like if you know me in real life, you know that I was cheese.
You watched it how many times in theaters?
I only saw it once in theaters.
Okay.
But I think I maybe seen it 12 times.
Right.
Like outside of that.
Right.
Yeah, I was super excited to see the Mario movie. I was making all of my friends dress up in costume with me. I went as Waluigi.
Making is a strong term.
Well, I went, you guys are all gonna dress up for the Mario movie, and they went, okay.
You met no resistance.
There was no resistance. I told some people, like, all right, you're gonna dress up as this character, and they went, yes, sir. Yeah, and that was really cool. Warren, one of our close friends, was King Boo. They slayed.
That is awesome.
They slayed. I'm sure I'm putting pictures on the screen.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Audio listeners love you to death. Warren is a ghost now and just phased into the room.
What's up, Warren? How you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual, like we booked our tickets to see it opening day. And during this time, you know, it was rough for me. When I'm very depressed, I have like a very irregular sleep schedule. That's kind of like how it personifies. So the night before, I shouldn't say the night before, the day of the Mario movie, we're seeing it at 7 p.m. And I'm thinking like, all right, it's 6 a.m. time to get some sleep.
Yeah, time to take your 8 hours.
Time to take I was prepping for a good 6.
Yeah, which obviously no one expects you to get 8 hours. We all know you.
Yeah. It's either I'm getting 6 or I'm getting 10.
Yeah.
8's out of the question.
Nothing's normal.
So I like go to sleep, and my roommate is also going to sleep around the same time because we're both fucked. And I have my alarm set from like 2 p.m. to like 5 p.m. Just in case. So I go to sleep. And I wake up and I see my roommate like putting on his Wario outfit to, you know, get ready for the Mario movie. And he's like, you know, Caleb, he looks at me, he's like, what's up, George? And I'm like, oh, hey, Caleb, how's it going? And he's like, good. I noticed your alarm was going off, but don't worry. I let you sleep in.
That's evil.
Caleb not knowing that I had those alarms not to sleep through, but to wake me up. So I'm like...
Very common misunderstanding, to be fair. I do have alarms to sleep through.
Yeah. I jolt up and I'm like, what time is it? I open my phone, it's 5:30. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I just gotta put on my Waluigi costume. I have to run to Barnes & Noble's to get some white gloves because I lost mine.
Classically.
Then I gotta run back and then go out with my friends, right?
So it was out of the question for you to just go without the gloves?
It was out of the question.
Well, okay.
Got it.
Do you realize how ridiculous you sound right now?
I'm sorry, do you realize how ridiculous you sound all the time?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's awesome.
It's part of
I
my
sound
charm.
ridiculous right now being like, I need my white gloves.
No. That's very
No, I've
reasonable.
seen the error of my ways.
So I'm like...
I realize how ridiculous I sound right now. You're good.
I'm like sprinting over to Barnes & Noble's dressed as Waluigi. I didn't eat anything. I didn't drink anything before. I just started sprinting with my whole heart to go see this movie, to go buy these gloves, right? So I run over. It's Sunday. Barnes & Noble is closed. What adult I am. So then I run back, and I get back there, and my friend Daniel is like, oh, I don't have a Shy Guy mask. I lost my Shy Guy mask. And I'm like, obviously...
That's almost as important as white gloves.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't look a fool at the Mario movie you can't be just in a white hoodie. So I, like, okay, Daniel, I will run to Ram City. I will buy paper plates and expo markers, and I will make you a makeshift Shy Guy mask. Yeah. So I sprint over to Ram City, and I run into all my friends who are now walking towards the bus that's, like, supposed to take us to see the movie, right? And my friend Julie, bless her heart, she did not get the Mario.
Julie, if you're watching this,
your heart is
you are watching it.
Julie, I'm gonna give you a big old kiss on the lips.
Yes. She tells me, she's like, oh, I don't have my Mario hat. So I'm like, okay, I will run back to my room, grab the Mario hat that I own, and get back to you. And I don't want to be carrying too much stuff, so I pretty much empty everything out of my pockets. I give my phone to my friend Dia, and like an idiot, I give my keys to Dia too, because why would Caleb lock the door? No, he told me he didn't lock the door, so I gave him the keys.
Yeah, I mean, your apartment famously has nothing weird going on with the door anyways.
No, absolutely not. Not anyone breaking in. So I run back. Caleb remembered to lock the door this time.
That asshole.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to run to the bus stop, hopefully catch them in time. And this is like 6 o'clock at this point. The movie starts in exactly 1 hour. So I'm running to the bus stop. At the same time, all of my friends get on the bus, including Dia, with my keys and my phone. And my friends are starting to be like, we should text George that we got on the bus. And Dia's like, oh, you can't do that. I have his phone. And they go, why do you have his phone? And she's like, I don't know. And they're like, why'd you get on the bus if you have his phone? And she went, I don't know. I don't know why I did that. So I get to the bus stop and I see it leave. Or I see like buses leave and I'm like, fuck, they're not here. I might miss maybe the most excited
night of your life.
The most excited I've ever been for a movie. I might miss this with all of my friends who are going to be there without me. And I'm like, I can't let that happen. I cannot let that happen. So I've already ran like basically a mile at this point on no food and water. The movie theater's a mile and a half away. I kneel down. I tie my shoes like I'm fucking Rocky. I tie my shoes, and in my head, I am mentally preparing to run a mile and a half to the movie theater. I know exactly where it is in relation to everything else. I'm going to sprint there.
Okay.
And I get ready to like start going, and then I hear a yo, and I turn, and it's my friend Johnny dressed up as motherfucking Funky Kong. And he's like, I missed the bus too. We'll catch it together. So if it weren't for my friend Johnny, I would have maybe passed out from exhaustion on the way to the Mario movie and like not seen it. No phone, no wallet, no keys, no nothing.
In your body's clock, it was also like probably like 7 or 8 a.m.
Yeah, and I was fully...
You had just woken up.
During the... And oh, that movie was so good. You have to see it. That movie was so good. I was so excited to see it.
It's okay.
Peaches is your alarm.
Peaches is my alarm that I wake
really
up
good.
to every single morning.
It's kind of awesome.
For the past 2 years. During the movie...
It's just a Tenacious D song.
And that's awesome.
We were sitting behind, or I specifically was sitting behind this like family, like this group of kids. And I'm like watching the movie and I'm absolutely cheesed. And at one point, one of the kids like turns around and says to like their sibling, they go, why is he so excited? He's not a kid. I'm too excited from the movie to hear that. I got told that later on.
I bet you wish you were 100 millimeters tall again, didn't you?
I felt 100 millimeters tall. That movie brought me back to my childhood. It was excellent. Kay, do you have a final story that you'd like to share with us? Final piece of lore?
If I may, I'd like to share two.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, so I have like a little baby one. So I have a habit of when I meet people in a romantic sense, I get manic pixie dream girl a lot, which is a term where I kind of seem like a larger than life person that people can like reflect their issues onto, and I'm going to be the one to fix it, right? Like I'm this larger than life person, and usually I quote unquote serve a purpose to like a narrative.
Think like Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, Clementine, Eternal Sunshine, etc., etc. I got into this relationship with this guy, and I was like, finally, someone who's not viewing me like someone who views me as a person. And we're about 5 months into the relationship, and he's a fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals.
Okay.
He's a really big fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals.
Okay.
And so I'm like, yeah, I'll sit down and I'll be interested in what you're interested in. I like some Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals. Phantom's pretty good. I like Sunset Boulevard. So we sit down and we watch the recording of Cats. And we're watching Cats, and I'm sitting there next to him, and I think it's Rumpelteazer, the cat that's like singing about Macavity.
Sure.
And just under his breath, I hear him go, God, she's so hot.
God, she's so hot.
God, she's so hot.
He's talking to God and being like, God, she is so hot.
You and me, big man, up in the sky.
So,
holy shit.
So I think he's joking. So I start laughing.
That would be such a. That I mean, I would do that.
I would do that. That's
so I'm laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
And he looks at me. He's like, so do you have any plans on what you're going to wear for Halloween?
Oh my god.
No.
Do you mind fulfilling my like furry fantasies?
And I think he's joking. So I'm like, yeah, okay, get the fuck out of here, dude. And he's like, yeah, of course. And
He's fantastic at playing it off.
We never bring it up again for like 2 months of our relationship until we sit down to watch another Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Called Starlight Express.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know Starlight Express.
I'm not familiar.
Everyone is trains.
like Chuggington.
Okay. They are all trains, but they're like kind of quote unquote sexy trains. It's a weird show.
They're plays?
Are they like humanoid?
This is a play? This is a theater?
They are humans dressed up as trains.
Well, I mean, like, are they like humanoid trains?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there's porn of them.
I don't know. I mean, he might know.
Why'd you gesture at me?
No, I'm talking about
George, we watched something earlier and you went, there is so much porn of this character.
It was Palm Me from Amazing Digital Circus.
Oh, well, yeah, in other news, Fork Found in Kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one character comes on stage. I don't even remember the name of the character. And he goes, man, you would be so good at that role. And I go, oh, thanks. Like, I don't know if I'd really want to be in Starlight Express. And he's like, no, like, you cosplay sometimes. Maybe you could, like, cosplay as her.
Ooh.
What is up?
The double down is crazy.
I again, confidence, I respect it.
It's the second time this comes up, and I go, dude, what the fuck is up with, like, you trying to make me Andrew Lloyd Webber musical characters? I'm like, is this a bit? And he's like, yeah, it's a bit. And I never bring it up again. And until the end of our relationship, after we have ended, I'm talking to one of his friends and he's like, no, he really wanted to fuck you in the, like, cat's costume. Wow.
Ian?
Yes. It's like, oh my god.
Weird.
Yeah, terrifying.
Good
Very
for him, I
funny
guess. I hope
story.
somebody is fulfilling that for him.
I don't think she hopes that.
I
don't hope that
I
either.
hope that person is also like really into that.
Yeah.
But my last story is I think you might know this one like vaguely, or even know a lot of it. I tell this one a lot, but I feel like this is one that needs to be shared with the world. Some things are going to have to be censored for this.
For sure.
So I, at the ripe old age of definitely 21, was in a club in DC.
Okay.
And I was with a friend of mine, and I wasn't really down for, like, partaking in any, like, hooking up, making out, any of that with anyone there. But my friend was very down for it. And they were chilling, and they went to go have a smoke with this guy.
For sure.
So I'm chilling on my own in, like, the corner. It's like a rooftop. And suddenly these guys in black suits come up to me and they go, ma'am, you need to follow us. And I think, oh shit, they know I am definitely 21.
They know I'm 21, but they still don't want me here.
Yeah, they know I am definitely 21.
The vibe police.
Man, I suck.
I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm like, yeah, of course, I think I'm with you, absolutely. So I follow them through and they leave me behind this, like, rope. And they bring me into this rope. And this guy is sitting in this chair and he goes, I saw you from across the way. And he goes, it's nice to meet you. Like, and I was like, nice to meet you too. I'm not, like, really looking for anything. That's the first thing I say. I'm like, he's like, you had a friend with you. Where'd the friend go? And I was like, they're outside. They'll be back soon.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So I'm like, and he's like, aren't your feet killing you? I'm like, yeah, they actually are. So I'm going to sit down, but we're not flirting, is literally what I say. I'm like, this is not happening. Because this is an older man. This is a much older man, like, think 40s to 50s.
Okay.
So he asked me what's your name. I'm like, my name's Kay. And I was like, what's your name? And I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to, audio listeners, you will never get to know his name. Love and light. But I asked what he does, and he's like, oh, I'm a football player. So I'm like, okay, football player. I don't know. George knows where this is going.
I do know where this is going.
Oh, he's a football player. Okay, fun. But I'm like, he looks familiar. Where do I know him from? And he just keeps talking to me, and he brings out this, like, $90 tequila. So I have some tequila, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, well, what would you be if you weren't a football player? And he's like, maybe a football coach. And I say,
That's
boring.
the lamest answer he could have given.
And exactly,
So
I said,
awesome.
And I said, and I looked him dead in the eyes, and I said, boring, you're boring me.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome, too.
And he goes, okay, well, maybe I'd be, like, a screenwriter. And I was like,
Okay.
how do you... Okay.
And I was like, get the fuck out. I'm a playwright. And we start talking about, like, putting stuff and everything. And my friend comes back. He lets my friend into the VIP area. Like, where do I know this guy from? And he tells me his name. And I know the name at this point, but I'm like, why is it not clicking? So he proceeds to make a move on me. I reject said move. And then he offers me $10,000
Oh.
to fly out to Miami with him.
Okay.
And I think he's joking. And I was like,
kind of fun.
and I was like, I actually have to go because I'm actually heading back to Richmond in the morning.
Yeah.
And he is like, I'm not joking. Like, I've never met anyone like you. Blah, 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 blah.
Fuck,
I'm
you
like,
haven't.
Okay. Bye. But he's like, can I have your Instagram so we can talk about playwriting stuff? And he asked me this before he had made the move on me.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So I was like, okay, sure. And then I realized where I knew him.
Oh, sorry. I'll stop.
And then I realized where I knew him.
Uh-huh.
The NFL.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
A Super Bowl winning NFL player. A 2-time Super Bowl winning NFL player.
Crazy.
So I'm like, and I realized where I knew them from even more. There is a poster of them on my sibling's wall.
Oh my god.
Oh.
So I have photos with this player. So I call my sibling and I say, Court, you're gonna fucking hate me. You're gonna fucking hate me. And then he proceeds to message me. And I just say, no, thank you for the offer, but like, I'm good. And he was being serious about it. He kept asking, and then he unfollowed me like a month later. I was like, okay, he
That
unfollowed me.
asshole.
That's okay, cool, end of story. And then he proceeds to refollow me, and then his brother follows me, who is also an NFL player.
What? Do they
And-
still follow you?
The brother doesn't anymore. But I round the clock, like every month or so, I receive a DM being like, hey, how are you doing? And then eventually, at some point this year, April, I stopped receiving DMs. I'm like, huh.
Weird.
It's not too much sweat off my back.
Yeah,
I'm like,
No.
okay,
That's a
cool.
creep.
That's
Fine.
convenient.
I'm just like, okay, fine, I guess. And I'm telling this story to, I tell the story a lot because I think it's very funny. So I'm telling this story to a group of friends back at home. And one of my friends, he's very into football. And he goes, okay, look up the news on this guy. And I found out that in April, he had passed away.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And he had passed away in the Miami mansion that he was going to take me.
Oh my god. That's whoa.
What an end.
Well, yeah, and then it gets a little bit weirder because then I get a DM from his wife.
Oh. Okay.
She got access to the Instagram account.
I don't know. Well, he's publicly following me. And she just mentions that, like, my name had come up in conversation before with his wife.
That's super normal and chill.
Super normal. And at this point, I don't even respond because I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm pretty sure they were both seeing other people at this point. I'm pretty sure it was like
Yeah.
A lot of celebrities.
an open relationship. Yeah. So like, no shame if that's like what it was. But she was like, I would love to meet with you at some point to know more about him. He's your husband.
Also, you don't know anything about him, really.
No.
Yeah,
Like-
I don't.
You know that he, in another world, is a football coach, and in another world,
He is a
screenwriter.
screenwriter.
a playwriter.
Yeah. So, is that the story to end this on?
That's
quite hype.
That is quite a story. I'm really glad. I've never heard the full story before. So
Well,
it's-
that update just came over this summer.
okay. Yeah. Okay. There's something that we always ask our guests at the end of every single podcast episode.
42.
That's a
Great
good
answer. Doesn't
Wrong
answer
question.
this.
Okay.
A lot of people will see me and Forrest out in public a lot and say, "Wow, those two are identical twins."
They can't.
Yeah.
They stop. They, identical twins. They're like the same height and like both like really charming and cool and stuff, but also so like thoughtful and caring and beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
charming.
So many people say this about us all
Yeah.
the time, and this like really distresses us
It does
because obviously me and George know we're not the same.
we know this.
We obviously, but so many people. Like when we hear it. We hear it when you whisper behind our backs, saying that we're the same. We hear.
So
Sorry, which one of you is talking right now?
We're both talking.
We're both talking right in your ear right now.
Get out of my head, get out of my head.
So what we wanted to ask you, Kay, is what do you think is the difference between me and Forrest? Yeah, 5 seconds.
Obviously,
I'm just kidding.
like you can't say like physical appearances.
Well, there would be nothing
like
to say.
Yeah,
that as well.
Twins, so
that
was
as well.
a confusing
Yes.
answer. It's a thumb tapper.
It's a thumb tapper because
Tap my thumb right
we're
now.
very
It's a thumb
different,
tapper.
obviously.
Audio listeners love you to death. I'm thumb tapping.
She's tapping her thumb.
Yeah, just like never mind. I was gonna say like how I tap them because I love them.
You love tapping?
I love tapping them.
Mm-hmm.
I got love tapped by a car yesterday. That's a story for a different day.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you know George a lot better than you know me, so I won't be offended.
Well, I think the crazy thing is, I would say I got to know you in some sense before I ever got to know George.
It's true. We met at a party, or they met at a party.
Mm-hmm.
And George and I were not friends at that point.
No.
Friendly,
Oh, really?
but not friends.
No.
Yeah, that was the first night, the night where I came here, that was the first night I'd ever been in George's apartment.
Oh, hi.
And I truly believe that if we hadn't talked and bonded so well, we would never have been friends.
Maybe.
That's kind of awesome.
It would have been a much crazier road there. Not that the road to our friendship wasn't already a little wild.
Many tables involved, I hear.
Yeah. Forrest is fight. George is flight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like that.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or do you want to leave it there?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for watching this or listening to this episode of the Obligatory Podcast. As always, we must ask,
Yes.
who had the craziest story today?
Yeah. Who had the wackiest story? Was it Fight Felix, which is Forrest? Fight Felix, which is Forrest.
Obviously. Was it Flight Forrest, which is George?
Yep.
Or was it...
5, 4.
Or was it Counting...
One.
Counting K.
Counting
Counting
K.
Courtney.
That makes so much
Don't
more
like
sense.
Courtney.
Counting K. Which is
K.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I never would have gotten that.
Kay, tell the audience where they can find you.
My Instagram is KKAY dot LEIGH dot NIX. I give each and every one of my followers a big old smooch on the lips, and then I slap them all across the face, and I say, but not in that order. I switch the order, and I say, that's for following me. And I say, and then I give them a big old smooch. I say, and that's for sending me the DM.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on to this podcast, Kay.
Thank you.
We loved having you.
Can I get unglued from the chair now?
No. I think you might need to sleep here.
Yeah.
But also that
okay.
reminds me that our viewers need to go to sleep.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Thank you
make
so
sure
much.
to like, comment, hit that subscribe button.
And we'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Why are we waving?
Bye
The
now.
camera's dead.
Bye
Audio
now.
listeners love you to death. Bye-bye.
Bye.